Off the Ropes, episode 18. It's your boy Brett Swinney here. Alongside me is Brandon Ogden, K.O. Kyle Owens. Guys, 18 episodes.
Unreal.
That's crazy.
It doesn't feel like 18. It doesn't feel like we've done 18 of these, but I know I've done very few from this here place that I'm at if I don't move my hands. It's a very nice establishment I've rented out for the evening in honor of our two pay-per-views we're talking about tonight. So if I don't move, then it looks awesome.
That looks real like you're on vacation. I'm jealous.
I know. If only it was real. If only it was real.
Oh,
so,
man.
It's like speak it into existence, but view it into existence.
That's what I'm doing. If I don't move, I don't get that little glitch on my right shoulder, and we're good. We're good to go.
How's it going, guys? It's been a while since we've talked wrestling.
It's going good. Yeah, it's been a long while, and I mean, because it went from we didn't have much, and now this next 2 weeks it's like a lot just coming at you, bam, bam, bam. But I didn't know what music direction you were going to go with tonight. I was expecting I was hoping for Swerve, expecting Adam Copeland, and you threw a big curveball. So,
hey, you can never go wrong with some Will Ospreay. That guy is just insane in the ring. So, didn't have much time to as we talked about off air. Football season is here, and we're all like super busy. But I'm excited to talk a little wrestling with you guys tonight. We'll start with some off topic. Brandon, you got something for us to talk about. Go ahead.
Well, I figured tonight's the perfect time because we're talking about both AEW and WWE, and I me, I spend a lot of time on social media, probably too much, and all I ever see is like, there are people like us who can enjoy both, but you just see too many. They're either the AEW all the way or WWE all the way, and they just can't. Like, if one does good, they've got to crap on the other, and vice versa. And it just continued again last night. It's like the WWE people, oh, Edge wasn't loyal. They did him so well for so long, and now he's just going to turn his back on him. Like, his career's tarnished because he's going to the minor leagues, and then the AEW people, they're trashing Jade and trashing what Edge was, and just it goes on every day. Just why can't we just appreciate we've got two, for the first time since the 90s, we got two really, really good products. If you don't enjoy them, that's fine, but I just don't like, some people just don't give themselves a chance, and it's just like, why can't we just appreciate what we've got right now? I mean, it's like it'd be like if you're an NFL fan, you're like, you can't like college football or vice versa, and it's like, what? It's more football. Why can't we appreciate it all? And it's just a little thing that's always bugged me, and it amped up a little bit more lately because every time there's just certain group of people that they just got to crap on the other just for the heck of it, and it's like, hey, both are pretty good, and they both have their moments, and WWE does stuff that makes us mad, and so does AEW, and both do really great things, and I enjoy it all. But I mean, I'm not saying you got to enjoy it all, but it's just the fact that people go out of their way to crap on the other just to they feel like they got zoned in on one, and that's it.
I agree. I think we see it way too much on social media. People complaining about Edge and complaining about Jade. I'm all for it. I mean, think of the different matches we could see in AEW now that Edge can have. We get to see Edge and Christian more than likely team back up at some point. Like, we're seeing that in a different area, a different space. And they had a lot of creative control at WWE, but I feel like the handcuffs are completely off at AEW. Tony Khan will let them do whatever they want over there. And so I think we're going to see more creativity from Edge. We're going to see matches with him, maybe him and MJF down the road. There's so many people that he can have matches with over in AEW that we never would have seen in WWE. And what else is there for him to do in WWE? He's already a Hall of Famer. Like,
he could feud with a Judgment Day for eternity.
I mean, what else is there for him to do? So I'm happy to see Edge go over there. And the same thing for Jade. Jade wasn't doing anything in AEW. She had that long streak where she beat a bunch of nobodies to keep the TBS championship. And now she's in WWE, where she is built for WWE. WWE will make her a star. Like, she will be a household name in a year or two. So I'm happy for both. I like to see them bouncing around. I don't care what you show up on. Just show up. I like to see professional wrestling. I don't care what TV show you're going to show up on. I'm going to watch both of them. So just show up. That's all I care about.
I like him kind of bouncing back and forth because, like y'all said, I mean, Edge has so many matches. Like he's never like. Can you imagine? We can go maybe him and Christian team up, and they go against the Young Bucks. I mean, you just got infinite matches over here. You've got Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, all these guys that are over here that he's never worked with because he's never really left anywhere but WWE. I mean, there are some guys in WWE that were there. Like he even wants a match, I think, with Samoa Joe was one of the ones he mentioned in the scrum afterwards. They were both in WWE, but didn't get a chance to cross paths. I just think it livens up the stories that we can see. And I'm already interested to see what they're going to do now. You got him and Sting in the ring, which is cool. I mean,
that too. I was about to say, Edge and Sting have never been in the ring together. Like that's an iconic moment that we got to witness, and we never would have got that if Edge would have stayed loyal to WWE. Like, let him be free, let him do what he wants.
And then even though they're old and we've seen it thousands of times, there's that chance in a couple of years where we get the major retirement match for 4 people and we get the Hardys against Edge and Christian one more time. I mean, you might not want to see it these days, but that would be a heck of a retirement match for all 4 of them because that would kind of cap like
TLC match.
Yeah, I don't know at 60 if they go to TLC. We're gonna have to do like
go out. If they're gonna go out, they're gonna go out with a bang, right? I mean,
yeah, but yeah, but that would be. I mean, that would be the way to go out. But I want to see Adam Copeland do a lot more things before that, and it starts next Tuesday against Luchasaurus. So
yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, something I just kind of thought about as we were talking here. Another topic: the TV deals are coming up, guys. Y'all been kind of paying attention to that. I don't know if I have a little bit, but looks like SmackDown is going to go to USA now, and they're still up in the air where Raw and NXT are going to end up. Possibly, I've even seen in some places where Raw may move off Monday nights. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, as long as I can watch it, well, I don't really care what channel it's on as long as it's accessible. And but, Raw and USA is kind of iconic. But the SmackDown and Fox thing, it didn't bother me the way. And then I do like. I know y'all don't watch NXT, and I after we talk about this, I do want to mention something about NXT real quick, and it kind of ties into the TV thing. But so as long as I like them to keep it on a channel, but if they moved it back to Peacock, that'd be fine too. But they'll figure something out, and people are gonna watch it and find it. I don't know about moving. It's Monday, not Raw. Don't move the day because unless you just don't want to compete with Monday Night Football. But just do it in the off season. But keep it on Mondays because it's iconic. So
I'm like Brandon. I really don't care where it's at on TV as long as I can watch it. Like I couldn't care less what channel it's on. As long as I get the channel and I can record it and watch it when I want, I don't care. About NXT though, Brandon, I was gonna say too. I watched No Mercy this weekend.
That's what I was going to talk about.
It was very good. It was very good, especially the last 2 matches. It was really good. So,
did you watch your boy Dirty Dom?
I did.
Did you watch it?
I just me and Kyle. I don't know how much Kyle. And we get to talking about the show here in a minute, but I missed the first. The pre-show. I didn't get to see any of it. And then I missed the first couple of matches. When I was going to go back and watch them today, but it was another crazy day. Had a couple things pop up on me, and heck, I was lucky just to get here at 8 o'clock. I'm glad we moved to the 8 o'clock because I was struggling getting here. But I always have liked NXT. It's just so hard. I've been trying to juggle all this, and it's like we've got a show every single night now, and it's like I like watching it, but it's just trying hard to get it all in. It's either I don't watch some of them and I can get like the full show of 1 or 2, or I'm end up skipping through something and then I'm missing something on them. So I don't know. It's really hard to try to pick and choose. I mean, there's a lot of good wrestling going on right now. I think that's a good thing, but trying to make sure you catch what's going on and try to keep up. I think the last 3 or 4 weeks since we've talked, I've struggled to kind of keep up with it, and a lot of times I've had to skip a few weeks and try to watch the next week and catch up to see what's going on. So it's not normally something I'm usually good at keeping up, but I think this month of September has really got me. But yeah, I'm excited about where everything's going. I'm excited about the Edge thing. I'm intrigued by what they're doing with the like they've kind of split the bloodline off. You've got Jey Uso on his own path. You've got Jimmy on his own path. I'm kind of intrigued on what they're going to do with that. There's a lot of good things going on right now.
Well, and Brad, I'm the same way. Like I actually just finished watching SmackDown from 2 weeks ago. I'm 2 weeks behind on SmackDown. I haven't watched last week's Raw. I haven't watched any WWE from last week. And I prioritize the pay-per-views. Like I had watched Dynamite last week, but I just now watched Rampage and Collision today. I watched the NXT pay-per-view, but I just watched the NXT from last week today, and it made some things made sense that I was wondering how one match happened, and kind of made some things make sense. But Dirty Dom did lose, and it was a heck of a match. And then the Carmelo match was Carmelo and Dragunov, and then Tiffany and Becky that was a good match too. And I was surprised they kept it on Becky, but we'll see where they go from there. But then another thing, we're talking about networks and NXT. USA Network a while ago, they did a teaser last week on NXT, and they did one on the pay-per-view, but USA actually announced it a while ago the signing of Brian Pillman Jr. to NXT. And it was interesting that USA Network was the one who announced it. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But Brian Pillman Jr. is coming to the little vignette they did. I don't know if you saw it, Cal, but it was pretty cool.
I didn't see that, but
it was like the thing is they didn't show him. It shows this guy in a Tiger shirt watching a TV, but it shows his dad back in WCW, and then it shows just shows some different clips through the years, and it just like it was a little hint that who it was going to be, and they announced it today. So I'm interested to see. AEW didn't use him a whole lot. The whole Varsity Blondes thing, but then once Julia Hart did her thing, and we'll talk about her in a little bit because I think I thought they were going to do it last night, strap a rocket to her back, but I think it's coming. But once they moved her, that the Varsity Blondes and Pillman were kind of left out to dry. So I'm interested to see what they do with him in NXT.
Yeah, I don't watch NXT weekly. There's just way too much wrestling to watch. I skimmed through Collision on Saturday night. That one, I watched basically to see how the match ended and the little promos in between. That's really all I watched in that. Kind of did the same thing with SmackDown Friday. Like that's what I'm having to do to just try and keep up. I'm not behind. I'm caught up. Well, other than tonight's Raw, but I'm a NASCAR fan too, so I have to squeeze NASCAR races in, Xfinity and Cup, football that I want to watch, as well as football that I'm working on, and then wrestling. And it's like there's just way too much going on right now. But hey, I enjoyed last night. Last night was a very fun pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to Fastlane. I doubt Fastlane lives up to Wrestledream, but I'm excited for Fastlane. I think it'll be decent.
And now y'all's two baseball teams will face off in the playoffs.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And my Rays play tomorrow, so I have to watch baseball tomorrow.
That's what I'm talking about, but against Bret's Rangers.
Yeah. Rangers, that's a sore subject right now. We kind of
I bet it's going 3. It's going 3. There's no way.
It'll be a good series. I'm more angry about not because I have to play Kyle, but we should have won we technically did tie the division, but it was the team that don't shake your head, Brandon. Those tiebreakers and whatever. But
who are the Astros playing? They get a bye?
Because
they won. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well,
I don't want them to play at home because they suck at home. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm very optimistic. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball. We'll move on after this, but we don't watch a whole lot of baseball because the Rangers
got time for it.
I don't have time for it for one. And the Rangers, and the turn it on, it's like they're just guaranteed to blow the game. I think they had something like 30 blown saves on the year, the most ever for a playoff team. Like you can imagine, that means they were ahead, in those late innings and blew that many games. They could have won a jillion more games than they won. They just had a closure.
The game that I went to, Rays Rangers in Arlington, the Rays blew the lead and blew a save, ended on a wild pitch. So I get what you're saying.
Like we're both in the same boat. Our team started off really well, and now we're in a wild card game.
I do not trust. It's very possible we're out the wild card round. It's very possible Rangers win. Like I don't think like the past couple years when the Rays have been in the playoffs, I've been like, oh yeah, we can win this series. Like I feel good about it. This one, have no idea. Toss up. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
But I will be watching. Maybe if I have time.
All right, let's talk the Wrestledream card. Really good card. I'm gonna kind of lean on Brandon. Kyle, we were kind of in I guess doing something else in the pre-show. I know you were kind of keeping your eye on it, so you may have a little more insight than I do. But I didn't get to see much of the pre-show. Brandon, tell us about the Keith Lee versus I guess his Shane Taylor Promotions match.
I can't really tell you. I watched that match. I can't remember. I don't even remember who won it. I think
Keith Lee's team won the match.
That's what I thought. The pre-show, I was just the only thing that I watched the whole thing. The only thing that stuck out was the whole Josh Barnett Claudio post-match thing. Claudio won. Just that was a pretty good match. Only notes I put for I didn't write anything for each specific match. I just said they were decent matches, nothing special. But the one cool thing about the pre-show last night, it was, normally it's just like, hey, we have everybody you already know. We're just jamming them on the card. Last night, the pre-show got some different people on that you don't see. Josh Barnett. There were some different people in the Keith Lee match. Shane Taylor. There was different people in each match, and I just thought that was interesting. Got some fresh faces on there, but the pre-show was it was last pre-show card we had Adam Cole and MJF for the match. We didn't have nothing like that this time, so I just said decent matches, nothing special, but I think it was 4 of them though.
Yeah, 4 matches. They had Claudio over Josh Barnett, Luchasaurus over Nick Wayne, and then the Acclaimed over TMDK, which I figured out that was actually Zack Sabre Jr.'s group.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, remember the Nick Wayne Luchasaurus thing because I want to come back to that.
Yeah. That, and when we talk about what comes up later, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of
so
nonsensical, actually.
You got anything you want to add to the pre-show, Kyle?
No, let's just keep it rolling. It was a pre-show that was a pre-show.
Okay, so match 1, I actually didn't get to see. I think I picked up on match 2. I didn't realize the MJF let off the card. I kept waiting for that match and didn't realize it went on match 1. I guess that's a new thing for him. He's going to lead off the show and get out of there after he does his match. Maybe he's going to be like a Brock Lesnar where he just comes on the show and leaves. MJF over the Righteous. Tell me about this match. I didn't get to see this one, guys, so I'm gonna lean on you here. I had MJF winning, but what went on here?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, for handicap matches, you never know what to expect, and I was wrong only because I was expecting some funny business, and because the way they ended Dynamite there night, so I still we'll see how eventually, but I feel like how they ended Dynamite there night has something to do with MJF and Adam Cole, and we'll see where they go with that. But I was expecting some funny business from either Roderick Strong or Mike Bennett. So, I was expecting some funny business.
That's got to be the Kingdom, right? That attacked, you would think, right? The Kingdom, Roderick Strong, maybe, and
it could be, but I also think it could be Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
The person with the MJF
the masked man, Adam Cole.
Well, the masked person looked like a woman. So it could be a Britt Baker. It was a Britt Baker body build, but it could be a Britt Baker, Marina Shafir type. But the masked person did not look. If you watch it multiple times, it looks like a female, but it's hard to tell. But it could be it's someone related to Adam Cole or Adam Cole.
I like that kind of stuff because we don't see that a whole lot. The mystery group attacks. I kind of back. We used to have when they had the Nexus thing, and you had some of those. Who was it? I don't know if you guys watch Impact when they had the Aces and yeah. I like that group when they didn't know who was going to be in the group. I like that because now I'm intrigued. I was looking for something to come out during the pay-per-view on that, and nothing really happened. But
that's why I thought MJF was going to lose somehow. I thought Mike Bennett or Matt Taven or somebody was going to cost him or Roger Strong, and I just thought okay, because they're eventually going to break up. I feel like they'll lose the titles before they break up, but I don't know, but MJF, he went through all the hits. He did a sportsmanship thing. He did a kangaroo kick. He said he was going to body slam the big dude, and he body slammed him. He just MJF's awesome, and he found a way to win. So.
Yeah, I was halfway paying attention to the match because we were busy, but from what I saw, it was very MJF babyface-esque. Like it was very sports entertainment, which I enjoy. I enjoyed it. He made it awesome. Yeah, also with the body slam, he said he was going to shove the dreadheaded dude up big guy's backside, and he did that during the match, and then he hit them both with a kangaroo kick. So I picked MJF to win. I just didn't see. I don't see him lose. I don't see him like, even if it was going to be like some nefarious means or something. Like I just didn't see him losing on a pay-per-view. So it's going to be interesting what they do with those ROH titles. Here's my question: nobody really cares about ROH. It's pretty much a dead brand. So those titles basically mean nothing. So Adam Cole is allegedly injured. So they don't really need to defend those titles until Adam Cole comes back. So
is he injured though?
Allegedly injured. That's what I'm saying. So, but my point remains the same. Like the ROH titles mean nothing. So they don't really need to be defended. And you can kind of keep that. And that's a way to keep the group together until Adam Cole's healthy to then do the split.
I could see him pulling that he's not really injured. He's faking it. And then like they're going to defend the titles. Then the masked guys come out. Then he pulls off the cast and he's that fifth guy and they take out MJF and that's how we get back to the MJF Adam Cole rematch for the title at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible, but the match was what it was. It was MJF. I enjoyed it. I wish it would have meant more, but I mean, you can't help an injury. So,
yeah. All right. Match 2. Eddie Kingston defeated Shibata to retain the ROH World Title and the Strong Open title of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I kind of caught some of this match. From what I saw, it was okay match. I didn't think it was anything special. I like Eddie Kingston. I like his matches are very physical, but I didn't really see enough to get a real grasp on the back and forth on this one. Brandon, you and Kyle have any thoughts on this one?
I didn't put much on it. Decent early match. It was kind of how AEW cards have been typically been lately. Outside of that start slow and then really pick up, and that's kind of they just keep building up, and they're not they put MJF early, but other than that, they're not putting too much early. They're not trying to hit you right out of the gate. They build up to the end and then they just blow you out of the water at the end, and that's kind of how this was just like a decent slow build. So I just thought it was weird. We talk about AEW's got so many dang titles, and I was counted today because they're doing a special title show next week called Title Tuesday. They're doing Dynamite on Tuesday next week, probably because of hockey or something on Wednesday.
Baseball probably on TBS.
Baseball, yeah. So they're doing Title Tuesday next week, and they've got 21 titles. So we'll see what.
God.
In this match, there were 3, but Shibata didn't defend his, but Eddie defended both of his. But Shibata couldn't defend his because his title has different rules attached to it. And,
is it the pure? Is he at the pure title?
Yeah, and so like there's limited rope breaks and stuff like that on all the rules. But yeah.
I saw again. We were still in the show when this was happening, so I was halfway in it. Caught the end of it really, but it was a hard hitting match. I mean, it's what you expected. I think the only reason this made the card was Tony Khan was doing a favor for Eddie Kingston. This is a match that Eddie Kingston had wanted for a long time. I have no problem with Eddie Kingston being on the card. I love Eddie Kingston. I think he's great. But yeah, I'm with you too, Brandon. This card, it started slow. Even though MJF opened the show, it wasn't a great match. It was entertaining, but it wasn't a great match. Same thing with the Eddie Kingston. It didn't grasp my attention. So it kind of started slow. I was getting kind of worried. I was like, did I really just pay this money for this pay-per-view? And this is going to – but I knew there were bigger names coming up. So it got better as the night went on, though.
Yeah, I think this match, I think we got off right about the end of this match. I spent most of this match, we spent listening to Vince and Corey go back and forth at each other. I was just sitting here laughing. I was like, because I was kind of trying to look over and watch. So I don't know how your setup is there, but I have to turn completely left. Yeah, I have to turn completely left to watch. So I was trying to like glance over as they were going back and forth and going at each other at the end of the show. But
That's
I
why
mean,
my eyes keep going up, because I'm just glancing up at the TV. Got Monday Night Football on, so I'm just.
well,
That's how I was doing Sunday too. I was
well,
just glancing up.
that match was probably better than the game on tonight, though. So you probably,
From what I saw, yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Geno Smith got injured in the Seahawks game, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it was a solid match. Again, I think my opinion on the titles, I like having a lot of titles, not this many though. I think some of the ones that kind of overlap, like the pure title, for instance, that's different. I'm okay with something that's different. It's got some different rules, but like, is there really a need for 2 world championships? Is there a need for like 2 trios championships, 2 tag? Some of those they could, bring in together. Because again, I like ones that have different stipulations. I'm a fan of the old hardcore title if you do it right, not just make it a laughing stock like WWE did this last time, but like a real hardcore title where the camera goes to the back and like the 2 dudes have started the match and they're just like throwing each other through. That'd be like Moxley's ideal title. Something that's different. But like when you have the same exact title over and over, yeah, it gets a little bit like what's which one's better? ROH, AEW. I mean, are they the same? I mean, you'd almost have to have if they had ROH as a second show instead of Collision, and you had were kind of like how WWE splits the roster and they did that. Okay, maybe you need some title belts if you have them split like that. But right now they're just floating all over the place. And of course, then you throw in New Japan Pro Wrestling's titles in. They bring them in, and there's even more titles. So it's like everybody has a title. Y'all all need a title belt. I got a title belt. Let's all have a title belt. We're all champions, right? I mean, that's the way it is these days, right? Everybody gets their trophy.
Yep.
All right. Match 3 started to pick up. As Statlander defeated Julia Hart. I did not pick this one. I thought they might give it to Julia Hart. They really ramped her up. I watched a little bit of Collision and Dynamite, and they really made a point to show her winning streak she had. She hadn't lost in like 500 and something days. Like, okay, well, this could be a way to maybe boost her up. Maybe Statlander goes after the other belt, but they kept the belt on Statlander. This is a solid match. My main problem with this card, guys, and I don't know if y'all noticed it, but you had one women's match, and there was 14 matches, and only one women's match made the card. Like, to me, they've got some good women to work, and for only one match to be a women's, and it's only, I think, like 9 or 10-minute match. That was a little disappointing. I think they really you just lost Jade Cargill. You gotta start building up this women's division, or you're gonna keep losing people.
And the Keith Lee match was a mixed tag, but
yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah,
no, yeah, but I agree. And but they've been building to the match because they're doing that Title Tuesday thing. They're doing the big. I think the main event's gonna be a women's match. It's Saraya against Ruby, I think, or Saraya against Sheeta or somebody. Saraya against somebody. But they've been kind of building to that. So I guess they just didn't have anything women's wise for this card. And so I thought they would have put like Sheeta and somebody on, since the card was dedicated to like Antonio Inoki. I thought they might have put Sheeta or one of the Japanese women on there to kind of do something like a tribute there. But yeah, it was weird that this was the only women's match. But I thought it was a good match. I was really impressed with Julia Hart. She creeps me out, but she's got star potential. I think
she's kind of helped House of Black like meaning something right now, because they've kind of been
just her and Brody's the only two I ever see anymore.
Yeah, but she's done a good job at it. When she joined the group, if you would have told me that she would be the one that would kept them like afloat and like me in the like on the card, even, like, I'd have been like, yeah, right. It's really elevated her. She's done a good job with that gimmick.
Yeah, and I picked her and I was wrong. I picked a lot of this card, I noticed, and I was right on some of them, but I picked a lot of this card with my heart, not my head.
Hey, that's okay.
That's with my Julia Hart.
That's okay. I picked her as well, Brandon. I really thought they were gonna
Who did I pick? I don't even remember.
You had Statlander.
I mean, she hadn't lost since over a year, so it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, they made a point to, but maybe Statlander kind of said, I watched Collision Day, and she kind of said that's her thing now. I guess is she's the streak ender. So
bingo. She's the defeater of the undefeateds.
Yeah,
she claims she's defeater because she beat Jade twice. So that's where I think they're going with Stat. I think you can use Jade's star power that she had in AEW and say what you want about Jade. She put Stat over twice before she left, and that speaks a lot about Jade. So she put Stat over twice. Use that for Stat now. Let her be the defeater of the undefeated. She needs to not lose for a long time. Let her be that dominant force now. Build up that TBS championship, but you got to have some story into it. Well, these open challenges have to stop.
The problem is too, Kyle, is you have a champion of the main belt that doesn't defend it. That's like, a placeholder. I know we kind of talked about that was, we didn't really like the move of putting Saraya with the title. Like, somebody needs to take that off of her now. We need
at least Stat defends it, but it's in open challenges all the time. Like, let's get some story. Let's build a feud. Like this Julia Hart thing. It was only for a couple of weeks, but at least they did some type of build to it. And I think that's the issue with the women's division, Brett. Well, you were talking, there's only one women's match. Who else would you have put on the card for what? I mean, just to put them on the card? I mean, that's
I would rather that though. I know I'd rather that though. They need to get those girls some matches. I mean, but I agree with you that the story building for the women is kind of lacking. And they have in the wings, they showed her a couple, was it last pay-per-view where Mercedes Moné was there? I mean,
she'll be coming in and she'll help out, but it doesn't matter who you have in that division if you don't do anything with them. Like, you have to put them in something that's meaningful. Them just going out there doing open challenges and nothing matches is not going to build them up.
And do we see Beth Phoenix? I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
I wouldn't count it out, but I don't know.
I didn't even think of it. That never crossed my mind.
But I mean, where hubby goes, wife follows. That would mean
it's possible.
I don't know. There's interesting things. I wish they would build it up, and I know right now there's not a way to do it. But I wish women need a tag belts. But you got to have enough women you're building and have some storylines with it. It's to me, it's a shame because they do a great job of building storylines like throughout the other characters, but it seems like they just have really hard trouble like building these women's storylines for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel like there's never really anything that's, you've had the Jade one where she was, just beat everybody. That was her gimmick. I think the best one they had was when Britt Baker was kind of the champ, when she had her DMD gimmick, and you had some of the and even with the Outcast was interesting, but they've kind of just they kind of just blew that up all of a sudden, and Britt's been off TV for a little bit, and I just don't know where it's going. And I mentioned
I love what Tony Storm's doing. I love what Tony Storm is doing.
Madonna thing, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, she's killing it. She's crushing it,
and she's so over. But they didn't put her over on, and man, that would have been perfect to put her over in that match, but they gave it to Saraya
because it was in London.
Yep.
Tony's all about his moments. Tony Khan loves his moments. That's why I was honestly surprised they didn't put the TNT title on Darby Allin because it was in Seattle. Like, I figured that they would just do that because it was Tony Khan giving moments. Same thing. They gave Eddie Kingston the win at Grand Slam. It was in New York.
If I'd have known that Swerve was from Seattle, I would have probably went with him. I didn't know that at the time.
Technically from Tacoma.
Well,
I guess it's from right outside of it.
So I didn't know that at the time. The next match is where it really started picking up for me. The 4-way tag team match. I had the Guns. I'm really angry they didn't. The Guns are on fire right now. I know what they're trying to do. We're going to see FTR and Young Bucks again. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're both great in the ring, but how many times do we have to see them over and over? And the Guns have been so hot. I just thought, man, FTR, the Guns, give it to me now. But that's not the way Tony wanted to go. So what do you guys think about how this was scripted?
I thought it was a good match. I picked the Lucha Brothers because I was like, like you, I was wanting something different because we've seen the Young Bucks a lot. I was hoping the Guns, but I just didn't think. And then I put, when I sent you my picks, I said I almost went with Hook and Orange because that would have been different. But even though they're not even really a tag team, I don't like, they just kind of got thrown in here. But I thought this was a good match, but I was, when this match was announced, I'm expecting banger, like 4.5 stars. Like I'm expecting just like a match of the year type candidate, and it was far from that. Like I enjoyed the match because you had 4 great teams in there, 8 great wrestlers, but I was expecting a lot more from this match. And then
I think Ray Phoenix got hurt again as well. I think I heard that. So that they probably hurt some of the spots they had planned, I'm sure.
And he's one of the 21 champions. So
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the match. It was fun. It was entertaining. You're not going to have a bad match with all these men in the ring. Like it was. I'm like you, Brett. I picked the Guns. I think they took the titles off the Guns way too soon when they took them off of them. I would like to see them get a little run with it.
Well, they're even hotter now than they were then.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But and I'm again like you, FTR Young Bucks. Yes, it's going to be a great match. We know that, but what are we doing here? And when is this going to happen? And we're going to have to wait till Full Gear to see this. That's like a month and a half away. We're going to have to build this up for a month. What more build can you do with FTR and Young Bucks?
It just says future title opportunity. It doesn't say when.
But Full Gear is in LA, so I would assume back to the moments that you would want to give the Bucks the titles in LA. But I don't know. It was a fun match. It was entertaining. It did its job. I just don't understand the decision on having the Young Bucks win, but we'll be entertained with the FTR Young Bucks match whenever it happens. And
it's because that's the only way they can give them another shot at the titles, I guess, because they earned it, right?
Sure.
I guess. Match 5, Swerve Strickland over Hangman Adam Page. This was a really good match, guys. I enjoyed this one very much. Again, I didn't know Swerve was from the area, or I would have picked him. I had Adam Page.
You got to do your research, Brett. You got to do your research on these wrestlers.
I didn't have time, Mr. Owens. I run this thing called NetSN, and it takes up a lot of time.
I don't see why.
I don't know either, but it sure does. And Sundays, most of the days, is my get things ready for the weekday. And I was looking through the match, and I haven't been caught up on my wrestling, so that really probably hurt me. I probably would have known that Swerve it was going to be in hometown if I'd had been watching and caught up.
He talked about it in some of his promos. You would have, but that's okay. It's all right. Hey, nobody's keeping tabs.
Yeah, except y'all. It's okay. I couldn't top our last show that we had when I had 17 out of 18. It's got to even itself out eventually. So, it got me this week. So that's okay. It was a really good match, though. I enjoyed it, even though my man didn't get the W. I really like what Swerve, like, since he's joined the Mogul Embassy. It's been good for him. Like it's been like, I don't like the Prince. He's annoying, but I mean, he's a character. I know. But again, their little group, I liked what they've got going with it. It's they've done a good job with that, and it's made Swerve relevant. I don't know why we haven't seen Keith Lee and Swerve yet. I don't understand. Like, are they just just act like they weren't ever tag team partners and they broke up? And I keep waiting for that. But either way, I enjoyed this match very much.
You talked about picking Swerve. Well, not every Seattle person won. We'll get to that later. But because there was one that lost, and we'll get to that later. But for the most part, they got the hometown people over. Even
technically 2, because Nick Wayne's from Seattle too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So technically 2 of them lost.
That's true. So Seattle was only 2-2.
Did he really lose though, Kyle?
We'll get to that.
But man, Brett. So originally when Prince and Anna came, I was like, I'm gonna hate this guy. I thought he was gonna be like Sanjay Dutt Part 2, and I was gonna not like him. And then he started doing the Swerve Serve When I Drive dance, and he's so over right now. Like, he is over. Swerve is over. Not just in Seattle. It's everywhere. Like I was talking to Diggs about at Grand Slam. He said the biggest pop of the night was for Prince Nana. He said it was just that guy is just over, and Swerve too. And you talked about Swerve and Keith Lee. Once MJF gets done with Adam Cole, we got to get Swerve and MJF. We got to get Swerve in some title pictures, and I love what Swerve's doing right now. It was a really big win with Hangman last night. It was a great match. He did the moonsault, and then the dead eye on the stairs was just brutal. We saw worse there.
I was about to say, but that wasn't even the worst.
Yeah. We saw worse later in the
Oof.
night, but that was brutal. The wrist stomp by Swerve looked like there was just some crazy and the thing. Yeah, the doctors are tending to Hangman, and Swerve gave no F's about that, and he did that stomp there, and it was just a heck of a match. And I was glad Swerve won because every time Hangman's in a match, you feel like he's going to win. AEW loves Hangman, and because he's been a great worker for them. He's been a day one. He was in the title match the very first show they had. He's one of their favorites. So every time he's in a match, you feel like Hangman's going to win. And so I was really glad to see what they did with Swerve, whether it be his hometown or not. I just I like where they're going with Swerve, and I was upset when WWE got rid of him, and he didn't hang around like the rest of his group, and now they got kicked out again. But he went to AEW, and he's
Dollar is a free agent.
Yeah, but Swerve's taking off. So
I loved the match. This was the match I was most looking forward to on the card. I think they did an excellent job of building it up, and it made sense. Swerve wants the opportunities that Hangman's been given. And whether he's earned them or been given them, whatever, Swerve wants those opportunities. And I love that storyline. And I think he earned it. I think he's earned it. I think Swerve needs to be in a title discussion.
Hey, good news for you guys. There's a lot of titles he can be in the discussion for.
Well, meaningful titles. But it's too early to take the title off of MJF. So I really don't know. Maybe give him the TNT title, set up some type of program where he gets into that. But love what Swerve's doing. Love the attitude. I'm just a big fan of Swerve. Big fan of Hangman too. And both of them killed it in the ring. Excellent match. It lived up to all the hype that I had given it.
What about the international title? That one's would be a good one for him. No? Because who has that now?
Ray Phoenix.
Yeah. So again, who has that now?
Which is funny because I think the only reason they gave it to Ray was because Moxley got concussed, and now Ray has it with something wrong with his shoulder. So
maybe that's the title Swerve goes at. Because honestly, I think there's another person going after the TNT title. He just arrived on the scene.
He doesn't need a title though.
He doesn't, but I think it would. I mean, I don't know.
We'll get to it.
Okay. Next match was Ricky Starks over Wheeler Yuta. Man, this was a good match here, guys. I like Ricky Starks. He's got a rock vibe to him. Like he's got that kind of that like the old heel Rock kind of character. It wasn't my favorite match on the card, but I liked it. It was hard hitting. And I think that Starks, I want to see what they're going to do with him because they've put him with Big Bill as his muscle, and it's kind of an interesting duo. I always liked him in Enzo in WWE. I really like that group, and I think maybe
can't teach that.
That's right. But I think Ricky Starks could be the Enzo for Big Bill. So I'm interested to see what they do with him.
Speaking of Enzo, the guy from I don't know much about the Righteous group that faced MJF. That one dude from the Righteous looks like an older Enzo, and that's all I ever see. But this match, it was okay. I knew Ricky was going to win. It was not the best part of the match. This one and then probably the next one too was that they had Moxley on commentary because he can't wrestle right now. I thought he added something cool to the commentary. You don't always like wrestlers on commentary, because WWE gets real cheesy when they do it. But with Moxley, it really added something to it. But I knew Ricky was going to win. I didn't think there was much to this match. It was just a good match. Two pretty good wrestlers.
As a play-by-play guy, I got annoyed with Moxley because he kept talking over everybody. So, but I wouldn't. But
Cal knows how that is. Like when you're doing a call and then the color guy's talking over you. Yeah,
the worst. It is the most annoying thing. So but then I thought about tweeting that out, and then I said to myself, "Who's going to tell John Moxley to not talk?" You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be the guy to tell him that? So Moxley has free reign, but for me, I did enjoy what he added. I just thought he was talking too much at some points, and where he could have just been quiet, let Excalibur or Taz or somebody else call it, and then him add it to it. I just didn't like him talking over everybody. But as far as the match goes, it was I think it could have been saved for a Dynamite. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view match to me. But I love Ricky Starks, and for everybody who thinks that or who doesn't like the swap from AEW to WWE, better watch out, because I bet you in maybe 2, 3, 4 years, Ricky Starks ends up in WWE. So for those that don't like that, or Tony Khan's going to have to break out the Brinks truck to keep Ricky Starks in AEW. But one way or the other, I think at some point
his character he's solid on the mic, and he's got good character skills.
Yeah, I love Ricky Starks. I think he's great, and Wheeler Yuta is a great wrestler. So he has zero charisma, but he is a great wrestler.
But when they put him with BCC, it's such elevated him.
Yeah,
like that was a good move.
It was a good match, but I could have done without it.
All right. Match of the night for the next one for me. Danielson over Zack Sabre Jr. Guys, I want to say the way the match was orchestrated, every counter, every little move, it lived up to every expectation. This could be a 5-star match. I don't know if Diggs would give it a 5-star match. There's probably too many kickouts. But, I mean, man, I love Zack Sabre Jr., and I knew it was going to be a good one. Putting him in the ring with Danielson, two just excellent wrestlers. Like, I don't even know how to describe all what I saw. Like, some of the things I saw, I was like, wow, they just did that. Like, just the counters after counter, and they would, one would do a move, the other one would counter it with some kind of pin combination, and they flip over into a submission hold. I'm like, whoa. I just was in awe the whole match, honestly.
Yeah, it was great. Me and Kyle and I tweeted, it would have been right at the same time, but I was having internet problems. And we both tweeted something similar about this match, and I said it was just technical wrestling masterclass. I mean, it was just pure artwork there. I mean, they just they told you all along it was a dream match, and it was one of Danielson's dream match, and they're really playing up. He's about to retire for his daughter, and there's matches he wants to do, and this was one of them in his hometown against one of the greatest technical wrestlers in the world. But Danielson still out to prove, and Matt probably did it last night, that he is the best until someone says otherwise. And it was just fun to watch. You didn't need the high flying and the some matches you do need that, and certain things you didn't need any extra. You didn't need anybody else out there. The only person you had out there was Moxley, and he had his colorful commentary at times, and that added to a little bit. But it was just, you could have not even had commentary for this match, and it would have been, you could just watch these guys wrestle for hours, and it was fun.
I enjoyed it. It was art in its purest form. They say, like, soccer matches. Soccer's a beautiful sport. Like, when it's played the right way, it's a beautiful. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. When you have these great soccer clubs that go out there and you see just the elegance and just the beautifulness of what's happening on the pitch, you're just like, man, that was beautiful to watch. And that's how it was in that match last night. Those two, I could have watched him wrestle for 60 minutes. I mean, it was phenomenal. It's not match of the night for me, just because I enjoyed like the Swerve Hangman match because it had that build and then it delivered on that build in the match. So that's the only reason it's not match of the night for me. But with that being said, you could give it 5 stars and I would be completely okay with it. Like it was phenomenal.
Any kickouts for you?
That was the theme throughout the night. I got annoyed with that too, but I got, just like the Moxley thing, I got over it. It was what it was. Like I've come to accept it. So, but it was excellent. I mean, anytime someone asks you why you like pro wrestling, you show them that match. Like that is it. That is, give me that every time, inject it into my veins. I love it. Like that is it.
Well, main reason why I like those kind of matches, because you know how you can watch matches over and over and it's like the same old stuff over and over and over. Like when you can do something like this and it's different and you don't know what to expect, like, you know, Roman Reigns match, for instance. I like Roman Reigns, but you know you're going to get a spear. You know you're going to get the body slams, those kind of moves on him. You got the Superman punch. Same things every time. Like with Danielson, it seems like depending on who he wrestles, he wrestles a different match. And when you put him with someone like Zack Sabre Jr., I mean, it was just I didn't know what to expect, and so that to me makes me more intrigued, because a lot of times you can tell when the match is going to be. I didn't really know it was going to be over. I didn't know how they're going to end it, like, because they can do so many different moves. Could do a submission move. I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if this is going to lead to another match, but the handshake at the end. You know, Danielson stuck his hand out. Zack Sabre Jr. didn't do it. He left the ring. So maybe another match or two in the works. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know about that. I think it's just Zack Sabre Jr. playing up his prick type character of not wanting to. No matter how he respects Danielson, but he's not going to show him that. Jereme, did you see the message? Jereme is tuned in. He says the lighting was too bad to be a 5-star with question marks.
The lighting was too bad. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let's throw that up there. You know, Jeremy Hubbard.
I mean, it was, to your point, it was, you never knew when it was going to end. And I think it's kind of the Steph Curry effect, as where you look at somebody like LeBron or Shaq. Normal people aren't built that way. Like you won the genetic lottery when you're built like that. Like you got it. But that type of technical, Steph Curry is a normal human being, normal size. So technical wrestling is something that somebody like me or you could perfect and become a great wrestler. Whereas Luchasaurus, for example, is just brute strength. Like he's talented too, but you get what I'm saying. Like this, I think there's a realism to what Danielson and Sabre Jr. did last night, to where that's something that people can relate with. Like, oh yeah, I can actually see myself doing that, as opposed to doing these moonsaults and all types of other stuff.
That's the match. That's the match we need. It's Coach Jeremy Hubbard versus Matt Diggs in a wrestling match.
A technical wrestling match.
Yeah. Oh, he's listening to us on the road. He's like the Claudio match is the match of the night for him.
Interesting. That's an interesting choice.
So, but yeah, I think to me, the match itself, that was the match of the night. It wasn't the moment of the night, obviously, but it was the match of the night. And you see why this could have been the main event, but you see why later why it wasn't. So,
I always thought it was going to be the main event, and then when they announced what the other was going to be, and then you like start putting 2 and 2 together. But one thing I noticed, Aubrey, she did a lot of matches last night. She did this one, and then Danielson raised her hand, and I didn't realize Aubrey was from Seattle. I found that out.
I was about to ask you why she did. Why he did that?
And also, but Danielson, he raised her hand and hugged her afterwards.
Yeah,
I saw a thing on Twitter today. She was crying in the crowd when he retired from WWE in like 2017, and then last night she got to do that match.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's
I noticed
full
it.
circle.
I noticed it, but I didn't know. I had no clue why it was happening, and I
Yeah,
could
me-
tell that Aubrey was emotional and Brian was emotional too. But I
Did
had
it
no
I
idea.
didn't know at the time. I found
was
out
it just
today.
me, or did she seem like she refereed a lot of matches?
She
That's what I was
in
saying.
a
But
ton.
then I saw she was from Seattle, so it made sense. But she did a lot of matches last night.
Like, I felt like every match she was in, it was like every time I turned around, she was in every match.
Well, I know I saw Bryce Remsburg a couple times. I still thought it was funny. Bryce Remsburg, there's one match he had the gloves on before it even started because uh, someone was, it might have been Darby was bleeding before the match even started. But
Well, somebody has to take up the Moxley role.
yeah,
Okay. Match 8. The Don Callis family over Jericho and the Golden Elite. I really like this match, guys. Saw some good stuff in this match. I had the Don Callis family just because they're going to keep dragging this thing out, and Jericho's just joined the fray, so they're not going to. They want to continue this out a little longer. I thought it was cool to have Omega and Jericho on the same team. They've been at each other since the very beginning of AEW, and they kind of talked about that. And the whole thing was Sammy joining the Don Callis family, and that was surprising to me. I didn't see that coming. They really did a really good job of kind of planning that out. But overall, I'm excited to see where this is going to go, and who they gonna. Did y'all notice the ring picture? How they had Callis, like it was almost like the Last Supper picture, and they had Callis's face, and they had. I'm interested to see what other faces they're going to add to the Don Callis family here.
yeah, I don't know where they're going with that, but I thought it was a good match. I I picked this and I expected Sammy to get the pin and he did. I just figured how this story's gone. I was like, this is gonna be a Sammy win, and because this is his time, not technically on his own, but away from Jericho. First time since he's been in AEW that him and Jericho aren't together, even though he's still in a group. But this is his first time to kind of shine on his own. And but the other takeaway is every time I watch Ospreay and Takeshita, I love them more each time. Ospreay especially, but Takeshita, he's special. Like the first couple times I saw him wrestle, I was like, I don't like just because the way they were using him at the time. But since he's been with Don Callis, it's been awesome. And I'm a lot of times these stories you just want them to end. This one can keep going because they've added so many layers to it. You can keep going for a while.
Did you guys see the kayfabe picture on Twitter of Kenny Omega was the one doing that recording?
I heard it was AI generated.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I have no idea. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, these people are friends outside of the outside of the ring. Like
I just thought it was funny that somebody would spot them and record them doing it.
I really enjoyed this match. I love Takeshita. I love Ospreay. That's why I told you, Bret, when I made the pick, I said I'm picking the Callis family. I love Will Ospreay. Like I'm choosing with Will Ospreay.
Kyle, you don't have to lie to us. You know you love Don Callis. Come on.
I cannot stand the entrance music for this team.
I don't understand why they can't get him some better interest. Is it just to annoy people? Is his entrance music so terrible?
I'm sure to be a troll, to be a heel.
I did like that. I did like after the pin we got to hear Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love the match. So Takeshita, one thing he needs to work on is his release German suplexes. He keeps dropping people on the top of their head, and that is going to end very badly one day.
Yeah, that was a nasty one.
Both of them. Omega landed hard, and then Ibushi landed the worst.
I thought Ibushi was done for. Like I thought he wasn't coming back in.
So I as much as I love Takeshita, he needs to work on that a little bit. But overall, hard hitting match. Takeshita's strikes seem so vicious. Goodness gracious, it was a hard hitting match. It was fun to watch, and I think we are not done with this 6 people intertwining. I think this will continue Probably all the way until Full Gear. If I was a betting man, or whatever major Dynamite show they have coming up.
They kind of talked about, I don't know if it was on the show or on a previous episode of Dynamite or Collision, but how Kenny Omega was 0-4 against Don Callis at all time, like when Don Callis on another team.
He hasn't won since Don Callis left him, and that's kind of the story they're building. He hadn't, but in all seriousness, Kenny's putting a lot of people over in this time by taking these L's, because he could lose the rest of the year. He's still Kenny Omega. Like he's still got that
Kenny by God Omega.
Yeah. So, it's interesting the storyline they're building with. But my question is, who does he beat in the Don Callis family to get that win? Is he going to get his win back over Ospreay? He's going to get a win back over Takeshita? Like, who does he beat?
Maybe he has to climb the ladder. Maybe he goes one at a time after him.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. But I'm excited to see where they go with it.
All right. Match 9, FTR over Aussie Open. Man, I love FTR. But I love Aussie Open. I think this was a good match. The main problem I had with this match was I knew who was going to win before it started. I think we all picked FTR. We did. But as far as the quality match, FTR doesn't put on bad matches. And Aussie Open they're really good as well. Of course, they're in there with Ospreay as part of his group. They're not Will Ospreay, but they're really solid in the ring. Those guys can work. And I really like this match. Problem is it took place in an interesting spot, kind of between two really good matches. So it's kind of like, I don't know, but I still liked it. I still think it was a really good match. I'm interested to see if I guess we're heading back FTR Young Bucks after what happened before, but I really wish they would have someone new for them to feud that is actually a legit contender that I actually think has a chance of taking these belts off. Besides the Young Bucks, there's so many good tag teams in AEW, and I feel like that there's somebody else that deserves a shot at this title.
Aussie. Oh. They're great. I picked FTR last night, but I wouldn't be surprised to see. I mean, it'd be cool to see Aussie Open get it and them face the Young Bucks. But I thought it was a pretty good match. Like you said, it was in a tough spot of the night. But it was a good match, and I thought it was cool. Aussie Open did the Shatter Machine, and then I actually missed. Yeah, my internet. That's when it started glitching out a little bit. Is when FTR did the Shatter Machine to win it. Like I saw them go up top, and then all of a sudden they're previewing the main event.
Oh no!
You could still hear the FTR music in the background. So it's like, okay, they won, but I knew they were going to win. But I thought it was a pretty good match.
I was on call this weekend at work, and right about the time this match started to pick up steam for me is when I got a phone call. So I missed the rest of this match. So I really have no opinion on it. I know FTR won. I'm sure it was a fine match.
It was a solid match. Let's talk about the main event, guys. Christian Cage defeats Darby Allin, but that's not really what we probably are going to end up talking about here. Is the aftermath. I've kind of figured that we'd have outside interference. It is a Christian match. Did not think that Nick Wayne would turn on Darby Allin and hit him with the belt and lead to the win for Christian Cage. Guys, I kind of had flashbacks when they started pulling the ring apron off and making and taking the padding and stuff off. I don't know if you guys watch NXT back when Gargano and Ciampa had those classic matches. They had a match where that happened. And I don't know, some of those hits, I mean, I don't care how careful you are. If you land on lumber, that hurts. The step spots in this match, oh my gosh. I thought Darby's arm broke on one because he caught it with his arm and then he was holding it. I was like, oh my goodness, I think his arm just got broken there. There was some interesting spots. I don't know how long Darby Allin is going to be a professional wrestler, but he may be one of those, and I don't mean to sound gruesome. He may be one of those that dies in the ring. The things that he does in these matches, I mean, I love watching it, but it's so gruesome. Like, it scares me every time he goes out there. I don't know about you guys.
I didn't know who Darby Allin was like until watching AEW, but like I remember watching early Dark Side of the. Oh no, it wasn't. Was it? There was Dark Side of the Ring, and there was another show that used to come on like that same channel, and Darby Allin was on there, but I didn't know who he was. But they would show him do these crazy spots on there, and then I saw him in AEW. I was like, oh, that's that guy from that would do all that crazy stuff, and then he comes to AEW, does it too. So I mean, he's all over the place. This match I thought was that was a really good match. I know when it was announced as the main event, I know Kyle's not a big on Christian in the year 2023.
Time out. No. Bret's the one that doesn't like that. I'm a fan of Christian.
Okay, my bad.
Well,
my bad.
I will say now though that they fixed it at least. At least he is actually the champion now. So it's not as big a deal. Like that was what bothered me about the Christian.
That's what it was. Okay, I remember now. Because I knew me and Diggs were both on the same Christian side, but it's Bret that wasn't. But so yeah, when he was announced as the main event, I know you probably were a little uneasy there, but I thought it was a really good match. I thought and they told a great story during the match because the one thing I didn't like that the commentary kept bringing up. So like Christian said he was going to win it by wrestling, and there wasn't much just pure wrestling. It was, hey, we're gonna, which a Darby Allin match isn't going to be like that, and it was pure just
was this a no DQ match?
No.
So that's one thing that bothers me about this match.
But the stairs never count as DQ.
But it should.
Yeah, but I've never understood that.
Can you pull the padding up off the ring and that's legal?
That's not a weapon.
And the ref technically didn't see him do it because he was tending to Darby.
Oh, so they just happened to turn around and the ring was all pulled up and it just did it on its own.
You can't punish somebody if you don't see them do it. You know what I mean?
And this match also, they've been doing this in wrestling a lot lately. Is getting family members involved. As I watched last week's NXT today, they did that the other day. They had the Chad Gable's family in WWE a couple weeks ago, and then in this one, Nick Wayne's mom. You saw her early in the night. Christian mentions her every week, and in this match, they really kept going back to her. Christian thought he was going to get a little something there, and then she threw his drinker, and so that, and also the way she reacted at the end, Nick Wayne not only turned on Darby Allin, but it looked like he turned on his mom because she wasn't happy. So, but and he's still young enough where he may get grounded. So,
oh no.
Listen, after seeing Nick Wayne's mom, I don't blame Christian for the way he's been talking. Anyway,
Buddy did well for himself.
Buddy did well. Congratulations, Buddy. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. Fantastic main event. I am genuinely concerned about Darby Allin's health. Genuinely concerned because every match that he's in, he goes 1,000% balls to the wall in everything he does. And I love him for that. But my gosh, man, some of these spots are unnecessary. And I don't know if y'all noticed this watching it. It looks like, first off, the steps were too far away from the ring. And Christian, the first time, I think he noticed that. He noticed they were too far and he hesitated and then just dropped him on the apron or on the floor, which I was like, oh, okay. He noticed that was not going to work out. Thank God he didn't throw him on the stairs. Then I guess Darby got in his ear and said, what are you doing? Throw me through those stairs. But you could even tell the second time Christian hesitated. He's like, all right, and chunked him. And that's when Darby made that nasty landing that they just had to show 4 or 5 replays of from every angle. Just disgusting. I legitimately thought he was hurt. Like the way they kept showing the replay, I was like, well, yeah, he's. And then once Christian kept pulling up the ring, I'm like, okay, he's just buying time but I mean, it played into the match. But yeah, I'm genuinely concerned for Darby. He's 30 years old and he will be done wrestling by 33 at the rate he's going. Like that, And I don't want that to happen to him. I think he offers more to the business than doing these death-defying stunts week in and week out. But overall, the match was great. Nick Wayne, don't understand the Nick Wayne angle. I'm going to need a good explanation on Dynamite Wednesday because this man, Christian, first off, you faced Luchasaurus in the pre-show. So you already have beef with that group. If you were going to join. So what happened in the 3 hours after that? You know what? Christian's not that bad of a guy. I think I'll join him. Like, he's been talking about your mom week in and week out, talking about your dead dad, your uncles, all this other stuff. He's been tormenting you. What out of that is like, you know what? I'm going to turn on Darby Allin and join that guy that's been making my life a living hell. Like, that makes no sense.
Luchasaurus beat it into him. He realized, man, Lucha, he was a great father of the year figure to this guy. I need the father of the year to be on my side.
It's just, logically, it makes no sense. So I'm going to need them to explain it Wednesday on why Nick Wayne decided to turn on Darby. Like, what happened? What happened from pre-show to main event that made you turn on Darby? And I really got worried for a second. I thought Edge was going to do the concerto, and I was like, no, Edge, don't do that. Don't. No. And then he smacked Nick Wayne. I said, thank God. I did not want to see Edge turn heel the moment he stepped in AEW. So, but yeah, that was the biggest pop of the night. Adam Copeland, the little vignette they had with him in the car. It was so sweet. I figured it was him from when he walked in and got in the car, but then when he was driving and he drove past Rated R, I was like, okay, here we go. Adam Copeland.
The great thing is that we got Metalingus too. We weren't sure he had right side, but did you notice they had to dub over the Rob Zombie? They had to change the "You Think You Know Me," yeah. And I thought they were even going to change the word. I think it was going to be like "You Think You Knew Me," or I thought he was going to say something different. But he still said, but they had to dub over that, but still got to use Metalingus, so that was awesome.
Yeah, I saw where Edge posted on Twitter afterwards, and he said that one of the points, it was like 5 different tweets, but one of the things he said was that Alter Bridge goes wherever he goes. Like, Alter Bridge goes with him. So WWE didn't own the rights to the music.
Oh, right.
So it was,
and they also got Rated R Superstar, which was awesome.
Which is neat, yeah.
But Rated R era shirts are already on AEWshop.com.
It's now Rated R Adam Copeland because WWE does own Edge.
Yeah.
So,
but they can still call him the Rated R Superstar. So that's, I mean, I don't know if you're WWE, how do you let that happen? I mean, they're usually really good about that kind of stuff. Did you just think that? Do you think they just thought he would never leave?
I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer. I kind of.
They thought he was never going to wrestle again.
So. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess that one slipped through the cracks. You know, Vince has a lot to deal with right now with all these sexual assault cases and all this other legality stuff. That slipped through the cracks.
Ooh, that's a tough one to slip through the cracks. AEW is going to make a lot of money on merch.
Yes, they are.
I mean, not that they wouldn't anyway, but the way they got to keep basically everything except Edge, they got.
Yeah, which is essentially the same thing that happened with Cody Rhodes when he went to WWE. They just took everything from AEW and put it in WWE with their production. So
he finally got his name. They finally gave him his name because he was Cody for a while. He didn't have the Rhodes name. They finally gave it to him, and he ended up going back to WWE. So now he's got that. I guess he owns that. He can go wherever he wants to with it now.
Yeah, I've never understood copywriting someone's name. Like, no, that's my name. Like,
well, it's because his name is not Rhodes; it's actually Runnels in real life.
Right, but I mean,
that was the part he didn't own. I don't know.
I'm talking about other wrestlers that have used their real name, like had to copy, like John Cena, for example. Like, his name's copyrighted in WWE. Like,
he could go and somewhere else and be.
He could go somewhere else and use it, but WWE is still going to get. They're still tied in with his name. Like, they are a part of his name, which is, I've always found that weird that you could do that with your personal name. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we talked about it, coming in, we're like, Wrestledream, okay, what's the card going to be like? And we got the first 5 matches, and I already could tell just from those 5 that it was going to be a really good show. But I think it was, overall, it wasn't like the best show I've ever seen, but it was a very good show. And the ending was one of the best of the year, I think, with the surprise of bringing on Adam Copeland, aka Edge.
And even though there was a lot of matches, this wasn't like a normal AEW where it was like super long. Like it was done before 11.
Yeah.
Like it was. I was. You think you said the card and you're like, oh, this is gonna go all night. And but it was a very efficient show, and you were tuned in the whole time. Once it had you there, you didn't want to leave. So
I was very pleased with the pace of the show. I think it was paced well. I'm like you, Brandon. When I saw the car, I was like, golly, man, I got to be up for work. I got to be at work at 6 o'clock Monday morning. This thing cannot go till midnight. Like, I don't need this happening. But it was very well paced. I don't think any of the matches overstayed their welcome. Like, I don't think any of the matches were too short either. Like, it was Tony Khan does this every pay-per-view, though. He puts on banger pay-per-views. That's what he does. His episodic television series may not be the greatest, but his pay-per-views are going to hit every time. So not surprised that it was another good one, and I'm looking forward to Full Gear in November and see what kind of stories we got going on then.
Well, I saw multiple people mention that they thought this was AEW's second best pay-per-view outside of All Out 2021. I thought that was interesting.
I think the pay-per-view, and this was the first pay-per-view, AEW pay-per-view that I watched, and it's been the standard, and it was a good one to start on, I realized, because a lot of people hold it as theirs. AEW's Revolution 2022. Phenomenal. I mean, it was outstanding. From top to bottom, it was amazing. I haven't had a card that made me feel that way after a show. Now, granted, it could have been because I was the first AEW pay-per-view that I watched, but to me, that is my top pay-per-view is Revolution 2022.
Well, they've announced that they're going to have one in December. They haven't announced the name or anything for it yet. I think it's going to be like around Christmas or New Year's Eve time. In New York is the rumor. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. But that'll be after Full Gear.
He may even have knowing Tony Khan, he'll have it somewhere near downtown in Times Square, right as the ball drops. Like the show goes up to midnight. So when the ball drops, the show ends. Knowing Tony Khan.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. All right. That's Wrestledream, a very good first episode or first pay-per-view for Wrestledream. Fastlane time, guys. I've got, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've got 5 matches right now on the card for Fastlane. Is that what you guys have?
I saw 4, so I'm interested to see what the 5th one is.
Okay. So Kyle's like, no, I don't know. No,
I have no idea what's on the card at all.
So I'm gonna surprise you then. Okay.
Yes.
I saw Kyle's face, and I knew something happened in the football game. I just saw the alert. I was like, Daniel Jones must have did something bad. And
like 98 yards.
Okay.
A 98-yard pick 6.
I saw Bret. I saw Kyle's face. I was like, something just happened.
So this is Kyle's favorite match. He's looking forward to his man Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth freaking Rollins again for another rematch. Your favorite word in WWE, Kyle. Last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know. I like what they're doing with Nakamura, but do we want to replay this match again? I know it's a last man standing match, but I'm curious of where they're going with this. Honestly, I think that Seth needs a break. He's probably injured, but I don't know this is who it goes over on. So I'm going to stick with Seth Rollins on this one.
I'm gonna go Seth. Is this where we think we finally get a Senior Money in the Bank cash in? Because they haven't teased that a lot lately. Maybe this is this is time to surprise us.
Senior Money in the Bank has a match on this pay-per-view as well.
That doesn't matter.
It technically doesn't, but I don't know. Could be. I don't know. I think he's gonna keep it a while though. They've got that purple briefcase. I see him keeping it maybe for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think Seth wins this match. But I expect last man standing. It should be a pretty good one.
I'm sure they'll take into effect Seth Rollins is back, because his back has been injured again. He'll focus on it. Kyle, what are you thinking about this match?
I wish we wouldn't had. I wish we didn't just see it a month ago. I think it'll be a good match.
I knew your reaction, Kyle. I knew what you were going to say on this.
I do think it'll be a good match, though. I am looking forward to the match. The story is going to be Seth's back, and that's what it was last match. And I thought it was a decent match last time.
At least it's a different type of match.
It is, and it makes sense because of the story that they're telling with the back. So I don't see them taking the title off of Seth, though. I don't see, not for Shinsuke. And no disrespect to Shinsuke, but by the way, shout out Rick Boogs. Nakamura. No, I don't see him taking the title off Seth, so I'm picking Seth to win it, but it should be a decent match. I just wish we wouldn't have just seen this literally a month ago.
Yeah, I think if we hadn't seen it a month ago, would have been a different story. And I haven't seen the update. I don't know when this happened, but John Cena now has a partner to go up against Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. L.A. Knight. Yeah. Jimmy. Man, there's no way they have. I mean, how many matches in a row has John Cena lost? I don't think he's won a match since
quite a few.
I know it's just a singles match streak. Well, he talked about he had won a match in like 3, 4, 5 years or something.
I was about to say because he won. I want to say it was the last SmackDown of last year when he had a tag match with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I know it was at Madison Square Garden, and he had like his only match of 2022 was at the final SmackDown of the year, so he could appear every year. Yeah. I know he won that tag match, but yeah, singles wise, I couldn't tell you.
But this is a tag match, and his partner is L.A. Knight. Yeah. I'm going to tell. I can't not go for Cena and LA Knight. So I'm going with them, even though I'm not sure that's the way it's going to go. But I can't go against that's like my old favorite wrestler and my new one that I'm really like to see on TV. So I'm going with Cena and LA Knight.
I'm gonna go with Cena and LA Knight too, but they're doing some stuff with Jimmy and Solo, so we'll see. But I'm gonna go Cena and LA Knight.
Yeah, I'm taking Cena and LA Knight. LA Knight's piping hot right now. There's no way you let him take a loss at this moment. Plus, Roman still absent from television. Haven't seen him since SummerSlam.
Yeah, I heard he's going to be on the October 13th episode.
Yeah.
Right, which brings up my point. Jimmy and Solo lose because when Roman comes back, he's going to be one pissed off tribal chief. The way Jimmy's been acting, and then if they lose to Cena and LA Knight at a pay-per-view.
Jimmy's not the new tribal chief. That's why he's acting.
Jimmy's going to be in for a rude awakening when he gets back. I feel like.
Speaking of that, though, tell me you guys love the new music, though.
Oh,
Jimmy's music. Oh, it's like I
like his and Jay's. They're both different, but I like both of them.
Yeah. I think I like Jimmy's better than Jay's.
Jay's is easier to sing. Jimmy's has a better beat. Jimmy's is better than Jay's is easier to sing.
Jay's is basically the Usos beat. It's the Uso. It's their normal thing. Jimmy changed his up completely. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do like that. I thought it was funny though. They're not. When I watched, I don't know if it was this last Friday night. I think I watched the beginning of it and finished it. But they came out and it was, usually it's Roman Reigns. They all come out to they came out to Jimmy's music. It was just interesting coming out. And it's like, well, he's kind of acting like he's Roman Reigns now. So if they go and lose this match, you're right. The tribal chief is not going to be happy.
He is not going to be a happy camper when he returns from wherever the hell he is right now. Who knows?
He's on the phone.
Constantly with Paul Heyman. And that's another thing. Roman's not going to like the way Jimmy's been acting towards Paul Heyman. Just completely disregarding Paul, snatching microphones from his hand. Roman loves Paul. I don't care what anybody says. Him and Paul Heyman are tight. So it's gonna be interesting when Roman finally comes back to work.
Yeah. Match 3. Triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I don't know. Charlotte Flair seems to always be in these matches. I don't know why I thought we were going to get Io versus Asuka, and we kind of did the other night. I think I was watching one of the shows they had. They were supposed to be fighting.
They had a title match. The SmackDown I just watched was like 2 weeks ago. They had a title match.
That's where it was from. Is that the one where Bayley came out and was interfering, and then Charlotte was at the desk and she came over? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like something like, is Bayley just too over the top happy for Io Sky at this point? I don't know. I just feel like there's something weird there going on. I kept thinking they were going to break up originally, but I don't know. I'm not real sold. Io just got this title. So I feel like that there's no way they take it off of her right away. I mean, she hasn't had the title for a few months. So I'm going to stick with Io Sky here. She's going to retain. I think she's going to pin Charlotte, and then her and Asuka still need that match between the two of them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Io. I think you can't. I wouldn't like them taking the title off of her just yet, and I don't know where they go from here. And they got in just it's hard. They don't have Rhea doesn't have a challenger. If Io wins this, I don't know where they go with that. Becky's the NXT champion, so it's like the women's division is kind of suffering right now. The SmackDown's got with you got Asuka, Charlotte, and then but Bianca's gone, so the women's division needs a jolt, and I don't know where it comes from.
Jade Cargill.
We'll see.
I have a fear that they're going to put this title on Charlotte. I have a fear that they're going to do that.
I'm texting you. If that happens, I'm texting you immediately. And
I don't want them to.
Well, I think if they do that, where they pin Asuka, so then Io doesn't get pinned, and so then she comes back after. I don't know.
Asuka's been taking too many pins. I mean, Asuka's been pinned a lot. Like anytime there's these triple threat matches, it seems like Asuka gets pinned. So I don't know. The easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is don't take the title off Io. You just gave it to her. Don't take the title off Io. But because that's the most logical and sensible thing to do, I'm not so sure that WWE is going to do that. But I'm going to pick Io. I'm picking Io.
Ready for Asuka.
I don't think Asuka wins this at all. But I'm picking Io with a hesitation and concern that Charlotte ends up winning the title somehow.
So you're going to go with Io then? Okay.
I'm going with Io, but I'm concerned.
Okay. Io, Kyle is concerned. Okay.
Cop out.
Okay. So we got a 6-man tag match. The LWO versus the, I guess, Hurt Profits. What do you want to call them? Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. So
I can't wait to see what this 5th match is, because these are the 4 matches I've seen, and so I can't wait to see what this 5th match is.
Yeah, so I don't know. Logic tells me nothing that the LWO has done makes me think they can beat Lashley and the Street Profits. So I'm going with the Hurt Profits in this one.
Is Mysterio fighting, or is it Santos and
Mysterio, Escobar, and either Wild or Del Toro? With Selena Vega. Don't forget Selena Vega.
Well, yeah, not that it matters, but Bobby and the Street Profits are going to win this one. They've done well with them so far, but they haven't. I'm tired of seeing them with the LWO. Let's get them to bigger things, and I do like Bobby with the glasses, and I like the suited up. I like the new gear, and instead of solo cups, we got money flying when they come out. But what do you call them? The Street Profits and Bobby will win this one. This will be not a very good match.
I have a prediction here.
Is it a prediction or a spoiler?
A spoiler.
Could be a spoiler. But it's a prediction.
Okay.
I don't think, because how are they going to do a 6-man? Because you're leaving one. The tag team is LWO. So if it's Santos, Cruz del Toro, and the Joaquin Phoenix, that's Legado del Fantasma. So that's the 3. But if you're doing LWO, you're leaving one of those out. So who do you pick? So I say, after the actions that happened this past Friday night, I believe, all my shows are running together. Dragon Lee is coming up to the main roster this week, and he is going to join Santos and Ray, and it'll be Santos, Ray, and Dragon Lee LWO versus the Hurt Profits. Doesn't matter. Hurt Profits are still winning, but I'm saying Dragon Lee is showing up.
All right. Interesting theory. I like that. That sounds like a CM theory.
It's a theory I have heard and I've latched onto.
Okay. I like that. All right. And that 5th match, Brandon. I know you're
I'm worried.
drum roll.
I'm worried.
The tag,
the
undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. The Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
I haven't seen this, but okay.
May have happened this evening while we're on here. Come about. I mean, I don't think the Judgment Day. I think it's a good match. Why would you put Cody Rhodes and Jey? Really? I mean, I guess Cody Rhodes is the one that's helped Jey Uso out. I could see somebody coming out and doesn't like Jey Uso and screwing up this match for them. I think the Judgment Day retain here.
Yeah, I think Judgment Day wins. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know this match was happening, so I wasn't prepared. But I think Judgment Day wins. I don't know what they're doing with Jey Uso yet. Because eventually it's going to tie back in, and when Roman comes back, and we'll see. He's on a different show, but eventually we get to does Jey and Cody win, and this somehow gets us all back to Cody and Roman at Wrestle. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the Judgment Day.
I want to add one more thing about the Hurt Profit thing. What if, also another prediction, I don't feel as strongly about this one as I do the Dragon Lee, but another prediction. You mentioned Zelina Vega. Jade Cargill shows up for the Hurt Profits as their woman. So anyway.
Is it her or Bianca?
I think it'd be Jade right now, just because
she's still far away.
I don't think you're turning Bianca heel right now. I think you could bring Jade in as a heel. I don't think Bianca needs to do a heel turn at the moment.
Are the like
they're heels?
Street Profits and Bobby Hill, are they?
They
Bobby's a heel, but are the Street Profits a heel? Like, it's hard to tell.
They attacked LWO, Ray and Santos after who are baby faces.
They are, but I still think Joaquin and the other dudes are heels. So
they're cool heels. They're cool, right?
Well, they're not very cool, but
anyway, yeah, I guess this match did happen. I saw something on Twitter earlier of Jey Uso in the ring with Judgment Day, so I'm assuming this match did happen tonight. But anyway, I don't think they're taking the titles off Judgment Day. I think there's more story to be told. I think, honestly, what's happening is we're setting up for a War Games at Survivor Series with Judgment Day and Cody and Jay and Sammy and KO against Judgment Day with JD McDonough is what I think is happening at War Games at Survivor Series. But to get to that point, we got to get through this, and I don't think he's take the titles off Judgment Day. So they win.
All right. Be a couple more and Saturday.
They don't need to. Five is good because you can give all those matches plenty of time.
I didn't say they were. I just said they probably will. You know how that goes.
Let's hope not.
Oh man, lots to talk about. We'll come back sometime. Hope we can wrap this Fastlane up, guys. These 5 that we've got here, which one are you looking for?
Can I say none?
Yeah, that's how
I mean,
I'm looking
could.
at it again. I'm like,
I'm looking forward to. I think that'll be a match. Seen a lot, so I even this stuff is, sometimes I just see. Probably the only comeback that would be, we may see that soon. So, but I mean, not like jumping over backwards to watch this pay per view like I was the wrestling. I think it'll be a solid card with some solid. There's got tons that I'm interested in. Where the storylines go.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good matches on here. There's just not one that really sticks out to me. Like, there's not one that, like, going back to AEW, I was looking forward to Swerve and Hangman. Like, I wanted to see that match other than any other match. There's nothing on this card that's just really grabbing me where I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see LA Knight. I want to see what the Street Profits do with Bobby Lashley. There's a couple of things I'm interested in seeing, but nothing that just stands out. I do think there's going to be some type of debut or return that's going to pop the crowd for Fastlane 2. I just don't know what it is, but I think something's going to happen.
All right, Brandon, got anything you're looking forward to on this card? No.
we'll see. I'll watch it. Hey, there's because all the good college football games on Saturday are early in the day, so I'll watch it and then we'll see how it goes. The thing is, the ones you like WWE is the ones you're not looking forward to that end up surprising you. So
because our expectations are so low.
Yeah.
I think you just compare. I think our problem is this past weekend. We look at that card.
At least they didn't do it the same weekend this time.
Yes. So now we're looking at this one, and I'm with you guys. I mean, I want to see the match to see delivers like the last couple. Like we thought weren't going to be very good. Ended up a lot better than we thought. So I guess we'll see this week, and we'll to talk about as we close. I kind of wonder what we're going to close on today, and I was like, there's only one song we can close on today. It has to be this one, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in to episode 18 of Ropes and previewed Fastlane. For Brandon Ogden and Kyle, I'm Bruce Winning. Time right here on Spec Sports Network. Good night, everybody.
I'll interfere.